5 notes in there. So I took we'll use A minor as an example. So do all these different little things with just that one thing. Go up and down it, get it going like that. However many times you want, but then start doing these, well, I call this one a 6 count because I'm doing 6 notes repeatedly. Then I'm going back to the A string and continuing up 6 more. And the same thing descending. Alternate picking. It's easy to do when you got even numbers and notes. It's a little bit more challenging when you got odd number of notes, like 3 per string or whatever, but still, if you do it enough, you get it. So you got... and all the position. However many blocks you can get down, that's how good you're going to get, and that you're also going to hear them when you're doing them. All right, so we got the 6. I just go to a root note anywhere there is one. If I want to make it sound like a riff instead of an exercise, try to make your exercises sound like riffs. Don't let them be just as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make them sound like a riff. Maybe at first you got a 1. Then so. Get to where you play them so they sound like a riff. And I would actually, once I did that 6 count, I'd start creating a riff right away. I would go, there's your 6, but I would start creating a riff by going to another note. Alright, so then there's a 5 count. Where you just go up 5 notes, and you can go string to string, which means when I do the 5 notes, I just go again down to the A string and start on this back note. I call that back and I call that front because it's going up. Some would call it the other way around, whatever. So I would start on the back note, which is here, because they're lower notes, and then I'd go up to the front notes, which are the higher notes. And then I just go... That's a little more challenging because it's an odd count now. It's not an even count. And you can alternate pick it or do economy picking on the 5 count. I'm starting with a down, for example, here. And I'm ending on a down on the 5th note. And then I just pick down, down, down here. Alright, so that, and then you could go this way. And this one is note to note. If I start here with the C, down, up, down. You can start with an up or a down. That doesn't matter. Should I start with a down or get to where you can do it either way. Because when you start creating phrases, you've got to be at a point where you're not even thinking about which way you're starting. When you get this, you got to think to get these down, but when you get them down, you got to stop thinking and you just got to play. And just use that ability you've developed by doing these to create your phrasing. So if I start with a down, down, up, down, Now I'm going to alternate all the time this time. Then I'm going to start from here. I'm going to go up with the high A note. So I'm going to go. Okay. And then there's the 3 count, and you do them in all the blocks. And what happens after a while, but when I do a lot of my phrasing and I play, I don't pick all the notes. I do a lot of legato or pull-offs like this kind of. So I did a lot of different things, but there's tons more than what I'm showing you. But if, you know, why not just get these down for starters? Then there's the 3 note count. What? It's hard for me to do them slow. Obviously, I'm gummied up right now. I mean, I can't wait to take the oxy in a couple more hours. Now, I don't have a good pick in hand, but I don't really give a shit. You know, a lot of people, they have a great skill in different ways. I just take a little bit lazily of each thing. I can pick a little bit decent sometimes, and I can create phrases with a lot of laziness. Nope, a lot of it I don't pick. I'm being sloppy, obviously, but I'm just trying to make a point. I got all the blocks down. One of my strengths is I got all the blocks down, like wicked, solid down. So I can jump anywhere I want without even flinching and play and be staying with that, whatever pentatonic I'm in, or diatonic. That is a strength for me. So I don't focus on my weaknesses. Oh, I need to get my pick in hand like frickin' James Hetfield. I'll never have a pick in hand, a tenth of what he's got. And you know what? I don't care, because I'm not him. I'm finding my strengths and what I like to do with all these different things, and I just throw a little sprinkle of each one of them, whatever of it, into my phrasing. You know, so you don't have to perfect anything per se. Listen to what they sound like and just do what inspires you to do, you know. So the 3 count, I do a lot of hammer and pull off of that. And I like to do a lot of linear stuff where I go. That kind of thing, you know? That kind of thing. You work into where you can go everywhere. So the 3 count. 5 count. What? Wait a minute. And you're not going to obviously necessarily solo and do that, go up and down, but you might. Whatever, just create phrases, whatever you want to hear. But when you do these, you're going to hear each block what you got in there. I do a lot of going back and forth. That's all just by what I want to hear. But I hear these things because I've heard these. All the different counts. You do those and you'll naturally start not really even playing those count things, but you'll hear things in the process, and you'll start tying together what you want to hear. I do a lot of it. I don't pick probably a quarter of the notes sometimes, but if I take just a loop of simple, now, a good way, that's something I did to help me phrase, was I wouldn't do a whole chord progression like a song per se. I might just loop that. That's it. And then I would just loop that and just let that play however long I felt like jamming to it, you know, and then. All the time's gone. Then I'm gonna go. And that came from. You know, so all these little exercises, things that you do, just to coordinate left and right hand, you know, back and forth. Whatever of those you get down, you're not you're hearing them for one thing, so you're hearing, oh, I like that, you know. I'm a big fan of traveling, of not sitting in one block, you know. So, you know, there's something like that. And if I was going to take that idea and say, I'm going to make that a song, then I would just work out actual phrasing for it. I would first run all over the place, and I would actually, for this, you can add a flat 5 and it'd sound great. And just add that flat 5 in it. Just everywhere it is. Again, the A minor pentatonic, I learned it everywhere it is, and it's down here. Don't just walk up a scale and down a scale. Just fight around with it, but just stay with the notes that are in the scale. Don't leave the note. String skipping stuff, you know, whatever. Over 15 minutes, I think I'm close to that. So that's kind of something you could do. You mentioned something about me going up and down from the high E to the low E. I did those with it, and I'll get into the mixolydian and all that later, because that's a lot more to talk about when you start doing it. Mixolydian, whatever. Then there's Dorian. All that other crap. But, you know, it's just take one thing and milk the crap out of the pentatonic with the 5 count, the 3 count. There's other things, a ton more than what I'm showing you, but I gotta probably already cut this video, so I'll post. Give me stuff, guys, if you want, but the biggest help, if you want me to you want to be more specific, send me a backing track that you kind of like or whatever, and I'll just say, well, this is what I would do to it, and I'll play something or several different ideas, and then I'll show you what I'm doing.